Any other wars going on? No, this is just the dividing up of the Ottomans, which I do want to stay focused on. I am definitely interested to see who gets the most out of the Ottoman territories. I suspect the Commonwealth is actually a little bit more after the Crimean lands, because the Commonwealth wants to secure as much steppe territory as they possibly can, and there are still quite a few steppes over here. The reason for that is because they want to use Cossacks, and yeah, this is all steppes. And Cossacks can only be given territory in steppe territories, and then if you have Cossack armies, if I can find a Commonwealth unit that has actually got Cossacks. That doesn't. That one does. So the Cossacks come in with an extra 10% shock damage bonus. So imagine the Commonwealth cavalry bonuses plus the Cossacks bonus. Yeah, they can really lay a smackdown. Pretty hard. Ottomans being pushed further and further away from their own territories. Not taking a huge amount of attrition as they do it. But here come the Commonwealth. They're coming in with 120,000 troops against the 60,000 Ottomans. This isn't a forest. There is a river crossing. This would be a good fight for the Ottomans. 50,000 against 40,000. Reinforcements are on the way. And here's the battle. So we have 6.6 morale for the Commonwealth against 4.7 for the Ottomans. Discipline, the Ottomans have slightly more, but tactics is on the Commonwealth side, which means they have the better technology. At the moment, the Ottomans are doing more damage, but here come the Commonwealth reinforcements, buffing up the number of troops available, and yeah, this is some serious hurt being suffered by the Ottomans. Oh, yeah, and the Commonwealth also have Streltsky units from when they inherited Novgorod. Those numbers will be rather more limited, and they can't build any more of them, but they did get a couple. And that means they have extra fire damage from the Streltsky, extra shock damage from the Cossacks, plus all of their quality abilities, and then... Oh no, it wasn't stack wipe, the Ottomans did escape. Commonwealth having absolutely no problems with manpower. Ottomans, however, having a couple. Like, their maximum isn't actually that high. They're actually on 50% manpower at the moment, which ordinarily wouldn't be too bad. But when you're fighting against these people, yeah, difficult. Has there been a Ming explosion? No, there hasn't. What is the Commonwealth's army professionalism versus the Arabian? So the Commonwealth are sitting on 100%, Arabia is sitting on 0. That's another bad reason. Oh, another negative for having so many mercenaries. Commonwealth quality is just out of this world. Like, I think they'd even give the Prussian military a run for its money, even with full militarism. The Ottomans still have a navy. That's about the only thing that they have. Okay, so the Commonwealth are pieced out. They've taken Constantinople and also Krogulski. So they have the crossing there into Anatolia. They didn't take very much of Greece, and they didn't actually take very much of the Crimea. I am surprised. But I guess that this is just more strategically important. I mean, obviously Constantinople is Constantinople. And you want the crossing so that you can always get into Anatolia, and the Arabians can't just blockade, because the Arabians do have a big fleet, I believe. Let me just double check that. The Commonwealth have a very small fleet. Arabia has quite a big one. Most of them are actually transports, though. I think if I was Arabia, I would be investing more heavily in that. That's definitely one tool you can use against the Commonwealth. Especially if you can get fleet basing rights in Andalusian Gotland. I'm so sorry that they switched to Andalusia from Morocco. Because Andalusia managed to acquire Gotland because they wanted to use it as a pirate base to basically pirate the whole of the Baltic. Then, like, the session after, the AI switched them to Andalusia. Sad times. So it does look like Arabia is going to try and take Anatolia. If I were them, I'd probably try and take some of the mountains, so you have at least the mountains to fight against the Commonwealth, and then just try and cut off as much of the Commonwealth territory. So, like, just border gore galore, like, straight across here. Or heck, you own a coastline, you could even just go straight across here. Oh no, you need to be adjacent, so it would have to be, like, here. Money can't buy quality sometimes, can it? No, money can buy quantity. Quality is something you need to invest in through other means. And having seen how Calico fights in the past, he is definitely a quantity type player. His armies tend to be very numerous, very big, but not very good. So Calico as Russia would be scary. in the previous multiplayer we saw him playing as Vision-Argar, which is another one which can just get hordes and hordes of mercenaries, because the Vision-Argar capstone idea I think is like 50% more mercenaries. Yeah, available mercs, 50%. So he does like his mercenary heavy nations, and he needs money for that though. Like, the weakness that Calico has is if you can hit his economy, then he can't really defend against it. And that was our strategy when I was playing as Tirhut, is we basically had plans to blockade Vision-Argar and starve him of cash. And in fact we were kind of doing it just passively because I was stealing so much money in Bengal before it got to Coromandel. But Arabia is so hugely wealthy, and I think that's one thing which the Commonwealth can't really touch, is Arabia's money. So as long as that wealth keeps on flowing, the Arabian mercenaries are going to keep on marching. Commonwealth need to rely on other allies to get at that. Alright, so the Netherlands is fighting somebody. Who are you fighting against? She says that. Liège and Switzerland. So the Dutch are trying to expand in the Low Countries. Liège is actually a pretty good pick. The Dutch still allied to AI France, and if France set up their AI settings properly, they shouldn't give up that. Although the French have taken over Hainaut, and I suspect they won't give it back. Although the Dutch have a permanent claim there. I'm actually surprised they didn't flip ownership. I think that's just the French saying, we want this land. And without Hainaut, I don't think that the Dutch can take these. They have no adjacency. That's got to be really infuriating for the Dutch. And then Switzerland is the other one. Switzerland they might give to France just to deny Italy. Because there is definitely no love lost between Italy and the Netherlands, and also the Netherlands and Prussia. Who are the Dutch allies? Denmark, France, Andalusia and Arabia. So having the Dutch on the same side as the Arabians, that's going to be some serious money backing them there. Who are Arabia's allies? Andalusia, the Netherlands, Ethiopia and Vision-Argar. So Arabia and the Netherlands bring the cash, Ethiopia brings the quality, and Andalusia brings the quality, and the Vision-Argar brings the numbers. Andalusia's armies are also another one not to be trifled with. Their national ideas are very interesting. I do like them. So they start out with 15% more morale of armies and extra ship trade power, so they can make more money from that. And then their capstones, the goods produced. They have fire damage received minus 15%. Against the Commonwealth, ironically, that's going to be less useful, because the Commonwealth's damage is going to be done by shock. But against basically anyone else, or even just generally in the late game, that is going to be huge. Vassal force limit contribution plus 100 is irrelevant. Tolerance of heathens plus 3, kind of irrelevant. Idea cost minus 10, and also the piety is nice. National manpower plus 15, core creation cost minus 15, an extra colonist, and then the fort defense and fort maintenance on board with a rival. So how is Andalusia using... Oh, they have a free merchant. Using their colonists. They have one in Cayenne, so they're trying to go after Brazil. Yeah, they're just trying to focus Brazil, probably to try and grab as much of it before Portugal does. And they did also take Cuba in the Caribbean. Nothing else, though. They've not gone after Mexico in any way. I don't think they've gone the colonial game either. Ooh, Mali's got colonies. Libertalia has appeared! No way! Oh, that's amazing. It's a Sakalava vassal, but still. So Libertalia is one of the six pirate republics that can appear in the game, and apparently this is one of the rarest. Oh, I'm so happy about that. We do in fact have the Pirate Republic of Libertalia. Well, let's flip over to Libertalia and see what they're all about. So their ideas are yearly Navy tradition +1, leaders without upkeep +1, unjustified demands -25. They don't care about religion. Religion has absolutely no effect, positive or negative. They have looting speed +25%. These are identical to the Caribbean ones. Infantry cost -10. Global naval engagement +20, which is huge. National unrest -2. Morale of navies +10. Naval combat bonus off coast +1, just like the British get with their doctrine. Sailor recovery. Rebel support efficiency. So they're going to be very good with espionage ideas too. Plutocratic, economic, defensive, maritime. Not sure I would have chosen that combination. Defensive is irrelevant to them. They should have gone naval, maritime. Economic, plutocratic is fine. Although I think I probably would have taken economic and then another... maybe trade. Maybe quality to get even better ships. Because you're going to be small, but that small nation is going to pack a humongous punch. Plus, Libertalia is going to be looting this entire coastline. So Portugal is probably getting a real headache from Libertalia. In fact, it might even be in Portugal's interests to break Libertalia away from Saclava and take them as a vassal themselves, and then Libertalia is going to be raiding everyone around here that is not Portuguese. Meanwhile, Arabia still fighting against the Ottomans. That peace has not yet been declared. We've actually got a battle going on over here. We've got the Arabians at -2. Less morale than the Commonwealth had, but huge amounts of discipline. The Arabians were sent packing there, but they do have another 30,000 men as backup. Was that a regular army or were they mercenaries? That was a regular army. That's manpower loss. That's not good. Meanwhile, Vijayanagara going after Sind, splitting it between them and Malwa. Guessing Malwa's not an ally? No. And then we have Italy also fighting. Who are the Italians fighting against? The Italians are currently up against Montferrat and Brabant. So Montferrat is definitely the territory they want. It's a big province, 24, with farmland. It's really nice, and wine. And then Brabant, which I don't think they can do very much against because it's over here in Dutch territory. So the Dutch, I don't think they took anything. The French blocking them in Hainaut meant they were just completely blocked unless it's a vassal. Okay, they took it as a vassal, fair enough. Then you can just integrate them later. Can Vijayanagara form Hindustan? I think so, yes. Or Bharat. They can definitely form something. Let's take a look. So if we click on Vijay and then we click on decisions, they can form Bharat. So they need Multan, Surat, Central Doab, Kutak, Patalipura, Halar, Kandy, and Mansura. Kandy they've given away to Portugal, so I'm not sure they'll be able to get that one back. And yeah, there's a couple of provinces up here which are being held by... Oh no, there's only one province being held by the Mughals. They might be able to make a deal for that. Delhi's got one, Sind has got 2. And Vijay just pieced out Sind. Who else is fighting? Yarkand is fighting. The first battle for the Yarkand. The Yarkand are up against Cochin. Expanding over here, grabbing the territory before Japan has a chance to. Yarkand seems to be allied to Ming. Oh no, Ming's probably the tributary overlord. Yarkand, I suspect, is a tributary of Ming's. Which is going to be good, because if the Mughals decided to go after Yarkand, Ming would jump in on their side. Or Japan, for that matter. Are there no player nations in the New World? No. So there is a reason for that. We are playing with a mod, which I call the No Institution Development mod. Which basically means that you cannot just spend development. You can't just spend monarch points to get development and that way get institutions. They can only be spread through institutions and the valid institution spread systems. So for example, if you build universities, you'll get the Enlightenment. If you build many factories, you'll get manufactories. If you have a lot of centers of trade, you'll get global trade. So the early technologies, Renaissance, colonialism, and especially printing press, are actually really difficult to spread early on if you're outside of Europe. So Europe tends to get a huge head start, and then after that the others are kind of scrambling to keep up. So playing outside of Europe is difficult. And the idea behind that is to encourage trade between nations. So for example, Mali probably wouldn't be trading with Portugal if that system didn't exist, because Mali is basically getting the technologies from their Portuguese neighbour, because Portugal is doing knowledge sharing, which is legit, with Mali, and you get that going on around the world. One of the reasons the Mughals were so powerful is because they had knowledge sharing going with the Ottomans, who were themselves getting it quicker because they are just adjacent to Europe. So playing in the New World would be extremely difficult because you couldn't just dev up. Cochin is in fact a kingdom. I was wondering if they were a steppe horde. Is Yarkand a kingdom or are they a steppe horde? If we go here... King Sher Muhammad I Dukhlat. They are in fact a monarchy. Craven and infertile. This is an awful king, a 2/2/2. Ooh, disinherit, disinherit. Ugh. Anything else going on? Arabia still fighting the Ottomans. And Karakanulu. If you split that army up a bit, you could take a lot more territory a lot more quickly. Darkfighter. Mughals are fighting somebody. Just gobbling up some more of their adjacent neighbours. So Vijay has gone after Delhi, and it looks like the Mughals are going after Delhi as well to try and secure this territory. I wonder if these two have a deal going. I haven't heard that they do, but they might. And then Italy still going for Montferrat. Yeah. They're going to have to wait a bit on that one before Montferrat will accept. Although they are now on low. 50% war score. And like I said, it is super duper unlikely that Italy is going to get access to the territories up there. Oh, that was Montferrat as well. Oh no, that's occupied by Montferrat. Interesting. So this Italian army, I don't know where they're going, but they should be reoccupying this. Oh, nope, they've got access to Brabant. Wow, they have. Through the Dutch. The Italians and the Dutch working together. Crikey, that's a thing I thought I'd never see. I have no idea why Arabia is sieging a mountain fort with 104,000. Yeah, that's certainly questionable. Okay, they've pieced out. They did not cut off Anatolia. They did cut off chunks. They didn't block this off either. Although the Commonwealth is a lot further away from being able to get through here, I think I would have been more aggressive in taking Anatolia and perhaps left that. Because now the Commonwealth can just gobble that. So what are the truces like? Truce with Arabia is in May 48, and the truce with the Commonwealth is in November 48. So Arabia's truce actually ends earlier than the Commonwealth's. Interesting. And there goes Delhi going to the Mughals. Don't know if Vijayanagar is going to take this bit of Delhi. I don't think they can unless Malwa is a vassal. They are not. And Vijay actually has no armies up there, so that is not their current target. Vijay is at peace. So maybe they were actually helping the Mughals take Delhi. I would find that to be a questionable decision. I suspect that Orissa's about to get stomped again. Vijay has a truce with them until May 38, so they still have a couple of months of freedom and independence. Yarkand still fighting Cochin? Yes. Though that war is going to end soon. The Japanese moving some troops over a little bit nervously. Yarkand is a completely unknown. He's a new player to this campaign. None of the players know how trustworthy he is. Let's actually take a look at his alliances. See if he's made any friends before starting the multiplayer. He is... That's Arabia. Yarkand is allied to Vijayanagar and Malaya. Not to Japan. And not to the Mughals. Noteworthy. So I wonder if Vijayanagar is trying to establish an anti-Mughal alliance, because the Mughals have been very isolationist. They've not wanted to fight against, say, the Commonwealth. These two have got a bit of an uneasy peace going on. They haven't been hugely aggressive against Vijay, but Vijay's got to feel intimidated by the fact that Mughals are moving further and further into India now. And Vijay, of course, has their alliance with Arabia, which is another counter to the Mughals. Do the Mughals actually have any player allies? Japan and Malaya, that's it. Japan could now, if there's a border here, help against Yarkand. Malaya could attack Vijay by sea, and in fact would cut off a lot of trade with blockades. Let's actually take a look at the naval power of our East Indies nation. So Malaya has a fairly large navy. 50 light ships. They are actually the 4th largest trade power after Portugal, Denmark, the Netherlands, and then it is Malaya. Japan coming up behind that. I know Japan has been trying to assemble a fleet to go after Ming. I wonder if they're going to try and get Japan to help them with... going to get Malaya to help them with that. Japan's allied to Denmark, Dai Viet, Mughals, and Malaya. So yeah, Japan and Malaya are actually allied. One question I've always had is the relations of Malaya and Dai Viet. So Dai Viet, I think, is allied to... Oh, no, they're not allied to Ava. Ava is only allied to Malaya. Malaya's made loads of player allies. Malaya's actually playing a very, very wise alliance and diplomatic game. Like, that's what you want to try and do, is make friends with players and don't try and antagonize them. At least until you're big enough where you can really start to throw your weight around. A la Commonwealth, a la Arabia. Andalusia, probably. I mean, I have to say, the Dutch, the Danish, and the Irish gained a lot by going after Britain early. England was a player nation, don't forget. I'm a little bit surprised that the Dutch have not tried to take over Mordretopia version 12. I think they should. I mean, it is a perfectly named province. And now the world is at peace. There are no player wars going on at all, and no wars with players involved going on at all. Big difference to player wars. And no player wars yet today. I mean, like I anticipated, it's quiet. This is definitely the calm before the storm. Like, next time, Ireland's going to be up for grabs. France is going to be up for grabs. The Ottomans are still going to be up for grabs. Ethiopia, if he doesn't show, will be up for grabs. There's a lot of turf which suddenly becomes available, which previously was not. I'm also a little bit surprised that nobody's tried to consolidate Sweden, and that the Commonwealth hasn't yet consolidated Muscovy. Or the Mughals haven't even stolen this bit of Muscovy, although that would definitely be a slap in the Commonwealth's face. Like, these guys do have kind of an established border. If I remember their agreement, it was that the trade zones were the border. So that's why it looks a little bit funny there. It's exactly on the trade zone. Although I know that Commonwealth wanted to take over the Novgorod node, and there's still a fair amount of Muscovy in there. I wonder if they're losing money to the Muscovy, or if they just have this many centres of trade that they're not really losing any. Ah, no, not really. 8%. 2 ducats. And how much are they making in trade now? 37 versus the Dutch in the English Channel, 107. The Italians, only 17. Oh. Oh no, they are collecting here, they just don't... They don't have a merchant here, yet they're still collecting. And they do have a merchant and are collecting here. Is that right? Merchants. Moving money from Vienna to Venice, Alexandria to Venice, then collecting in Venice. I think that's probably a poor choice. I think I'd actually be collecting in Genoa. I would be building up the centres of trade on the Genoese coast, because he's not done any of them. And he's got a lot. Like, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centres of trade in the Genoa trade node. And Genoa is hugely valuable. It's double the value of Venice. And if you upgraded those, invested a bit, you would collect a lot more money here than you would in Venice. So I think I would definitely do that. Then I'd probably have a merchant feeding Alexandria into Genoa, and then probably Ragusa into Genoa. Because at the moment, Austria is stealing a lot of money out of Ragusa. Or possibly Sevilla. In fact, no, I'd do Sevilla into Genoa. Steal money from Portugal and from Andalusia. Stick a very large light fleet here. Back yourself up with a bunch of galleys and just be like, what are you going to do about it? This is my money now. Not to mention that you're using that money to finance your galley fleet. I think Japan was thinking of trying to take on Ming. Yes, I know that they were talking about it. Oh, Klem's in a war again. No, I'm not looking at myself as I pour tea. I'm surprised I didn't spill any. Vijay is in another conflict. They are currently fighting Orissa. Did not see that one coming. Completely blindsided by that one. There were absolutely no indications that Vijayanagar had any hostile thoughts against Orissa. None at all. Mifok and Daga, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Good to see so many of you here today. I was a little bit worried with the 3 weeks that we've been away that not as many people would show as normally do, but we have a good number, so welcome. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying it so far. If you have any questions or things you want me to look at, things you want me to explain, things that you want me to say or do, then do let me know. Take your tongue out of your cheek, Mordred, and you'll bite it. I feel like I ate something I was allergic to yesterday. I got loads of, my tongue hurts. Now, you know the taste buds when, like, they become really sore? I have, like, 3 different spots on my tongue, which is really sore at the moment. Not a fun time. Val, contract complete. I really do wish the chat worked. What contract are we talking about here, Val? I'm going to have to go and ask him. Let's go and talk to the players, shall we?
Just to screw
Hello.
Calico over.
Sorry,
Hello.
I just moved you over. So what's this contract that you just completed?
I just got Crete.
Crete? Oh, interesting.
And I'm moving some pirates into Alexandria.
I am not surprised by this.
This is a deal I had with Helson. Yeah.
Oh, Helson. Oh, that's cunning. It's actually quite funny because earlier on I was saying like one of the main things that you could do against Arabia is steal their money, but Helson doesn't really have a way of doing that.
39%.
Well played.
That's less than I thought because I'm bankrupt. I think bankruptcy does affect that, doesn't it? Or no, I'm not bankrupt anymore. I just got out of it.
I was going to say, I don't think it does actually.
Okay. Ah.
It's just that he has a lot of upgraded senses of trade, so like his provincial strength is quite strong.
Mm-hmm. I make a lot more money in Sevilla, but I've got a deal to uphold now.
Oh,
Ho, ho, ho.
you're in a war.
Yep, I just got invited into a war against Ming.
Ooh, now that's one I'm going to have to watch. Okay, I'll let you go because you've got some coordination to do.
I mean, I'm going to be going over there probably, so... Yeah.
Which channel do you want to be in?
I'm just going to go to the dwarves.
Okay. Move myself there instead. My bad. Alright, let me just bring up my windows again because I have to basically close them all every time I do that. And, whoops, I did that in the wrong order. Need you, need you, need you, and there. And then chat. Okay, cool. We're back. So, war against Ming. Japan has been gearing up for this one for quite a long time. The target of this, of course, is Ryukyu. Because that is the classic way of taking Ming on, is to go after Ryukyu. This is a good move. Because Ryukyu is going to be the war goal. You can take it, you can sit on it, that's 25% war score right there. Easy. The rest of it you can get through blockade. So Ming does have 6 heavies, 1 galley and 39 transports. I suspect the naval game is going to be firmly on the side of the Japanese. They do actually have 14 more heavy ships hidden away somewhere. Question is where? Japanese army lands, 110 discipline. Their infantry coming in with... Oh, we'll have a look at that in a minute. It's capped on diplo points.